Mr. Ward, we've been waiting a long time for this one. We've been really excited about this guest. The bass player from Fevertree, ladies and gentlemen, Rocko Wallz.
Hey, guys. How's it going?
Hey.
Rocko. Over here, Rocko.
Over here.
Yeah.
This way.
There we go.
There we go.
Yeah. Oh, hey.
We got it.
Oh,
Thanks.
sorry. We got Mr. Magoo here. Sorry.
This could go off the rails in a hurry, I think.
I just thought your head was really close, so you didn't shave. I didn't feel awkward for a minute.
So yeah, man, good to see you.
Thank you,
We finally had a standalone with you. You've actually been on before, with Mike Bertoldo, and then we've had Tim, we've had John standalone. Then we went to the rehearsal space.
Yeah, I missed that one.
You missed that one.
But we knew we had to get you in here by yourself. That way you could tell us how you really feel about all these guys you're playing with.
Yeah, Tim doesn't know I'm here today, so I can talk. All right, Mr. Dills doesn't know I'm here today.
And Jeff, you and I, 10 minutes ago, were like, I wonder if Rocco's going to show up with props.
Of course.
Yep. You do not disappoint.
Y'all call it props. I call it merchandise.
Merchandise. I get it.
In the business, it's called merch.
Well, unfortunately, we know there's only one rock and roll cabbage candle.
That's it.
So it can't be here. It's in the rehearsal space.
Yeah. Yeah, it should start a line though.
Yeah. Oh, I do. I brought something that we just put out on the market from Fevertree and stuff. And believe it or not, it's sold out. I mean, we're like 2 weeks back ordered.
Trademarked, copyright.
Awesome. Oh yeah.
Everything.
Copywritten.
We don't want anyone to steal it.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, awesome, man. You live in Missouri.
Yes, sir.
Right? Then you just made the drive straight down, or were you in town for something else already? Or
this is my regular route.
And it's like 2 hours, right?
Yeah, hour 50, something like that.
So you're the second furthest person because Schmitty came from Nashville.
Yep, this is true. So. Well, then we talked to
what were you? Sorry,
Taiketo.
Oh yeah,
he was
in Spain. So that was a Zoom call from Spain.
Yeah, that shouldn't count.
That's gonna be
that was a great interview, but
that was going to be hard to top.
So, are you from Missouri?
No, originally I'm from up north around Chicago, Chicago area and stuff, and moved down to Arkansas back in 1988. I think it was.
What part?
The northeastern part around Blytheville, that area there.
Okay, northeastern. Okay, yeah. So it's still a good distance from here.
Oh right? Yeah. But it's we come down here to take care of my grandparents and stuff.
So that's your connection to Memphis? That's how that started?
Well, no, man, growing up, I was 14, 15 years old playing gospel music with my parents and stuff like that. And then when I got over to Memphis, I had just started playing with Black Oak for a little bit. My buddy Lance, y'all know Lance McDaniel.
Yeah. Black Oak, Arkansas.
Yeah. Right. Lance got me to, he said, man, you got to come over. This friend of mine who's a great guy. He's pretty well known and rich and stuff. And he hires bands. He said, but you got to come over to this open all-star jam over here in Memphis. And he said, just come. Yeah. So I showed up and we're in this big living room studio with a stage and everything. And I'm like sitting there with my wife and stuff. And all of a sudden, this guy gets up and they introduce him. And it was James Alexander from the Barkays. Okay. And that's one of my idols, man. And I was like, I look at my wife, I'm like, holy cow. And she's like, what? And I go, that's James Alexander. And she goes, okay. And then they introduced Earl of Pearl Banks and guys like that. And Lonnie Hammer was there and stuff. And man, that was my introduction. I mean, I got pushed right into Memphis. Right into it.
What year was that again?
I don't know. It's probably about 10 years ago or so.
Okay. Oh, okay.
I'm still like fresh and,
I mean, relatively speaking, as Jeff and I get to know all these players, everyone's going way back to the 80s.
Yeah.
So 10 years ago, you're still a Memphis pup, aren't you?
Oh, yeah. I had been to Beale Street to watch some, acts and stuff, but I wasn't connected whatsoever with nothing. So, yeah.
And how quickly after that did you meet Tim or any part of Fevertree?
Well, I had I saw him one night at a bar play, and I had never heard him and stuff. And they played at Neil's, and I came into Neil's and heard him play, and I was like, man, that's a really good band. And so I managed to get one of their CDs and stuff, and I actually became a fan of them, before I, ever played with them and stuff. But I used to mess around with them. How how I really got on Tim's good side. You mean go and tell the story?
Sure, come on.
We are 5 minutes
off script, right?
And no. I'm surprised it took this long to get to Tim. I'm excited. Now let's go.
Let's go.
Now we're on fire.
All right. So we got asked, me and a friend of mine, he's a really big guy, and he's like one of my best friends in the world. His name's Ronnie. And when I started a motorcycle club, I was president, and he was my sergeant at arms, and he's just this huge guy. And they wanted some security done for it was a Todd Pool with Roxy Blue and Fevertree. And Fevertree was opening for them. And so me and my buddy showed up, and we were running security. And I had already kind of met Tim and them, and then I kind of knew him real well good and stuff. And I walked into the side room there at Minglewood where the bar was at, and there was probably about 80 people in there getting drinks and mingling and stuff. And Tim was just sitting at the bar next to the guy waiting on the bartender. And I walked in and I saw him, and he just looked at me, and Tim looked at me, and I go, "Oh my God." And as loud as I could, I go, "Tim Dales!" just screamed like a fangirl. And everybody got quiet and looked, and I'm about 8 feet away from Tim. I go, "Oh my God, Tim Dales, this is an honor to meet you, sir." And I walked up to him, and he said, "Rocko, what are you doing?" I said, "Man, awesome. You know my name, Tim Dales." And there was a guy sitting next to him. I mean, literally sitting right next to him. And I grabbed this guy and shook him. I go, "You know who the fuck that is? That's Tim Dales." And he goes, "Hey." And I go, "He never comes out and talks to the peasants. He's like, he never comes peasants. Out." I said,
the minions.
You're right. And I said, "This is him." And he goes, "Hey, nice to meet you, Tim Dales." And Tim's like, "Hey."
Did you ask for an autograph?
Well, I told the guy, I said, "Get this fucker's autograph, man. He's right there." I'm sorry if I'm cussing. I forgot.
No.
Okay. I said, "Get this fucker's autograph, man." And he goes, "Can I have your autograph, sir?" And Tim's like, "Oh my God."
And it's been love ever since.
Ever since. I made the same scream whenever they asked me to come play bass for him. I was like, "Oh my God, I'm in."
How long were you getting to know the guys before starting playing bass for them?
Probably, I think, a little over a year and a half or so.
Yeah.
Like I said, I would fill in for Dave Snell with Lance McDaniel sometimes.
Right.
And we played one night at Legacy, Lance said, "Hey, let's play at Legacy over in Arlington." And so I played with him and stuff. And the guy showed up, and saw me play and stuff. And Tim was like, "Man, love the way you play. I love your style, man. It's really cool and stuff." So.
Awesome.
Yeah.
It's been how many years now you've been with them?
3, I think.
Yeah.
2 or 3. Yeah.
And
for Tim, it feels like a lifetime. But
I'm sure, man.
Yeah.
So you weren't on their first album, right?
No.
It was the second one?
Yeah, it was the second one.
Social Mediocrity?
Yeah.
Tell us about that experience in the studio with them.
Man, it was it was great. We go in and we were just at rehearsal one night, and how the songwriting process starts it was really blew my mind, because we get in there and Michael start playing we're just waiting to rehearse,
right?
And he'll start be like, "Oh yeah, I played this riff the other day," and he starts hitting this riff, and I'm just like, nodding my head and stuff, and Patterson, he's already starting to get in the rhythm and stuff, and I just start kind of, creating with Mike and playing. And next thing you know, Tim's running in there going, hey, keep going. And he grabs a pad and paper, and that man just spits tunes out, man. It's just unbelievable. And
that's awesome.
He's so good at it.
Yeah.
And so we started writing music, and, Mike told me, he's like, man, he said, it's so cool that I can play this, and you'll throw in a cool bass line to it. And he said, and it's just, good creative minds working together.
Yeah. Yeah, it's obvious that the chemistry is there, because the music you guys have put out is just fantastic.
I appreciate it. I call it forced chemistry, because they have to love it.
They have to love it.
No.
You guys crushed it at Minglewood opening up for Tora.
Yes, you did.
That was so awesome. We talked about it that next show, and I said, man, it was so great to see our buddies play on a stage that is appropriate. A big stage, big sound. You guys just fill that space, and then my bass brother in here, just the way you were grooving, and it was cutting. Like, your tone was cutting. I could hear all your notes. I was like, man, this is great.
It's awesome, man. I think, one of the greatest compliments you can give of any kind of musician is their tone.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, because that's the ultimate goal that we strive for, is just a great tone, and
especially in a big boomy room.
Yeah,
the bass is usually get the first one to be buried. Bass and like keys usually get buried.
Yeah,
I could really hear you. It was awesome.
It was such an honor to open for Tora, because we got ties with them, and that was another thing. Joining Fevertree is me and John had played together on a couple other things.
Okay.
We did a showcase with Earl of Pearl Banks, and my friend that I was telling you about earlier. Me and John played several times together and stuff. And that was always cool for me because, like I said, when I first met him, I was telling my wife, I was like, oh, it's John Patterson from Tora Tora.
Did you do the same screech and everything?
No, he doesn't get that.
Yeah.
So, he's a drummer. I don't really. Yeah. I mean, I just said, hey, John Patterson. That's.
Do I know you from somewhere?
Yeah.
That's okay. He got enough fanboy love from me. Yeah. I think his head swelled up as soon as
yeah.
Shut up,
Yeah, it wasn't his head that swelled up, it's those ears that come out. But I did learn playing with John Patterson. Like anytime he's around, you have way better Wi-Fi signal, and I figured out why now. So
there was that funny picture at Sidecar the night you all went out, Jeff, and I don't know who took it, but Tim Dills is standing in the back in the shadows behind John Patterson.
His right ear.
Yeah, hiding behind the ear and just like peeking out. Like he's, it was so funny.
That's good.
What's so great about you guys is you all can take a joke. You all ribbon each other.
Oh, yeah.
But it's fun.
Yeah.
And that's why we've just enjoyed getting to know you guys.
And you don't take yourselves too seriously. You're damn good at what you do. And most guys that I think are that good might have a tendency to get a little serious and maybe take things a little, be more critical. And you guys are just easygoing. You have such a good time, and you make everybody around you feel comfortable.
Yeah. Well, you know that musicians are, whether they say it or not, they're very emotional.
Yeah.
And it shows when they play.
100%. Yeah.
Right. And some of the best songs are songs of heartbreak and or happiness or whatever,
or drug use.
But I've also learned that a lot of musicians personally, some of them, it seems like the more talented they are, the more whatever, they get their feelings hurt quickly. Musicians can get their feelings hurt crazy. Right. And you've seen it in bands that play together that they sound great, but yet, man, they're just so angry. Like you hear stories like of Aerosmith, just hating each other, but yet they play great together on stage and they get off. And I never understood that.
Mick Jagger and Keith Richards, legendary patches of time where only the lawyers communicate.
Right. Well, it's like Fevertree. We all, man, we just love music, and we love doing it. We love the feeling you get from it, and so
and it portrays through the music.
Yeah, and it's really great that these guys don't get their feelings hurt. Because if they did, I'd be out of a job. Bad.
You are a legendary feeling herder.
Yeah.
And you guys are so good at the Minglewood show. You guys blew the electricity out of the building. Literally.
Well, we hated to do that for Tora. But,
and we've talked about it, and I'm sure the intro that we haven't recorded yet, Jeff, for this episode, we'll be bringing it up.
Talk about it.
You guys end, and within 3 beats,
it was
boom.
It's dark.
Originally, I thought, okay, the stage lights went down because of in between bands.
Sure.
And then it took me 10 minutes. What's going on here?
Well, you guys, I thought I had another stroke and went blind again. It was like I couldn't see anything. Anyway,
hey, Rocko, the power's out just in case. Just you're healthy. You're fine.
Well, I mean, we were done, and I turned around, and my son helps me on stage along with my wife sometimes. My son was right there, and he's 15, and his job was to come get my bass and then lead me out of there without dying because I can't see nothing. And as soon as I turned around, he handed me bass, and that's when the power went, and I was like, holy cow.
Well, you just gave me a great segue to a conversation we were having in the elevator on the way up.
Okay.
Your shirt.
What do we got here?
I do my own stunts. And you go into a story that I want the audience to hear about the very thing you were just talking about, being let off the stage without killing yourself.
Right.
Let's go. Tell it.
Well, to start the backstory a little bit, I had a stroke, and I was actually on stage playing with Fevertree, opening for Roxy Blue at Hadley's.
Okay.
And I found out a couple days later from the hospital that I had a massive stroke.
Okay.
And it messed up my vision to where I can't see. It's not my eyes, it's the cortex in your brain, whatever. But anyway, so I was playing it was 2 weeks after I had the stroke. I was playing with Lance McDaniel with his band, filling in for Dave Snell.
Okay.
And we were in Paragould, Arkansas, at a place called LA's. They got a stage that's like probably 1.5 feet, 2 foot off stage.
And that was the Shotgun Billy.
Yeah, I was playing
Yep.
Shotgun Billies.
Okay.
And I was standing up there, and Tim had already told me. Tim was mad at me because I played a show a week before, literally 3 days after the stroke with Lance. And Tim was like, man, you need to quit. You need to rest and all that. And I was like, no, I'm fine. I'm a bass player. I've got this. And so I was standing on stage, and the very first song, we hold the note out, and we're sitting there holding the note out, and I'm standing there, and all of a sudden, just something didn't feel right. And all I remember is Lance going, "You all right?" And I fell face forward off the stage and hit the floor. Now, from my perspective, it felt like I remember like going down, then out, and then I woke up and I'm on my back, and I've got it's so great when you have people in the medical field that are there.
Yeah.
But when they're drunk in the medical field, it's different because I had 5 people on me going, "He's awake," and they're telling me who they are and how they're in the medical field. I'm Karen Simmons, and I was an ER nurse for 5 years, and they're like medically pissing over each other, trying to give me bragging rights on who's saving my life. But it felt like it was 2 seconds, and come to find out, I was out for probably 7 to 10 minutes.
Wow.
And everybody.
That
Lance,
must have been scary. No, I mean, that's serious. Were they working on you?
Yeah.
Were they compressing?
Well, they were just trying to get me awake. You know, they checked my pulse and all that from what I heard and stuff. And my wife was right there. And see, I'm diabetic, and I had an arm monitor on.
Okay.
And they're going, all this, all that. And she's going, check his sugar. And she's trying to tell him, just check his sugar. That maybe he's diabetic. Maybe his sugar got low and stuff. And they weren't doing it. And finally she got mad. She's like, "Get the F out of the way." And she goes, "Here, his sugar's fine," And but I had fell, and I had Lance and my wife both had thought I died. Like Lance was crying. And he's a very emotional person, and I love him. And he was there with Amber and stuff. And I woke up, and I thought, "Oh, hey." I was like, "Get off me." I go in man mode, and first thing I'm doing is, "Where's my bass? Where is my fucking bass?" And Amber's like, "It's fine. It's over here."
Your wife is like, what?
Yeah. And then they brought in a gurney, but the ambulance was there. The ambulance was already there. That's how long I was out. So, and they get me up, and I don't want to go on the gurney. I'm cussing, "Fuck this. I don't want to do this." And they put me on the gurney, and I shit you not, somebody started slow clap. And one person clapped. And then this fucking audience started slow clapping, and I was yelling, "Don't fucking slow clap," and stuff. But I broke my face and my orbital socket and all that. And
damn, man.
Yeah. Well, the good news is it couldn't make you any uglier.
I know, right?
Good one.
I know.
Nice one.
Well, like I said, being a bass player, it's hard being the face of Fevertree. So I had a little corrective surgery done.
I get it.
So,
I get it.
A little late on that.
And look, we laugh and make light of this situation now, but obviously at the time it was very serious, and people were distraught and thought something.
That's
bad.
a long.
That is a
time
long time
to see your friend just unresponsive.
And it's crazy. It felt minutes, and then like Lance was just. He was and like they needed a bass player for a couple of weeks after that, and their drummer Case, he was like, "I don't know," and Lance even told me, he goes, "I didn't rush you on stage twice. Your wife is mad at me now and stuff." He's like, I don't think I'm gonna let you play this weekend." So
occupational hazard.
I don't want to be responsible if you go down a second time.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, we got presents.
Yeah.
I want to open these, and then we absolutely are going to talk about hog rock.
I'm kind of scared to open this.
So Rocko came with gifts. We'll show you. It's a little tall box.
Well, I was supposed to be on a podcast. I was scheduled for it, and then I'm in St. Louis, and they go, "Hey, you're going to be here in about 30 minutes?" I'm like, "For what?" And so I know what y'all were expecting.
Yeah, I was thinking it was going to have Tim Dills on it.
Yeah, I thought I know
or rock and roll cabbage.
I've got plenty of naked pictures, but
thanks, man.
Thank you, brother.
You made some tumblers for us.
Appreciate that
with the
very much.
Rhythm section on it. And with the one with our faces on it, which is like our mugs. When I drink with my right hand, I'm forced to look straight at Jeff's face.
That's the way to go. That's how it should be.
What would happen if you had this, but you had to look at Tim every time you drank?
Well, see, thank God I'm blind sometimes.
Thank you, man. We appreciate it.
No problem. They came from a buddy of mine. He does a lot of my merch and stuff for me.
Very cool.
Eagle Lasers. His name's Kevin Coop, man. He's awesome.
All right.
So what are some of the props you brought? What do you got over there?
Well, she forgot the other ones. I got you a cup like this.
That's what I really want.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, I'll trade you
got
this
a Fevertree one?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
That's awesome.
I think it just has my. I think the cups I'm giving y'all just has my logo
So
on
this
it.
one, this one has the profile of Rocco's face on
Right.
it. If you could see it,
And I bet he's given one of those to Tim.
Yeah. Oh, Tim's got all the collections.
the whole collection.
Yeah,
of course-
there's actually a collector cup.
of course, the Fevertree logo,
Yeah.
which is an awesome logo.
It is a great
Thanks.
logo.
Yeah.
It's still perfect for a drum head.
Yeah. I designed it. That's like I have a
In the corner, drumhead.
Me and my wife's
that's right,
got me and my wife's got a sign and t-shirt business, and I do a lot of artwork and stuff. And when I joined the band, I was like, "Hey, man, can I experiment with a logo?" And Tim was like, "Yeah, man, whatever." And so I come up with that logo and stuff, and all of a sudden they were like, "Dude, that's awesome."
So you're the author of this logo? Is that
yeah.
The designer?
That's cool.
Super cool. Fevertree social mediocrity.
Yeah. And then the other thing I got, this is one of our top selling merch items right here.
This is exciting.
Yeah. This one,
It's a pillow. Okay,
it's a
we got
pillow. Well, I mean, as a rock and roll band,
Right.
people forget about that after rock and roll, like what happens after, and here's the deal. There's been you heard about stories of, men and women, hooking up at their big shows and stuff. Fevertree doesn't do that because we're all happily married.
Sure.
But back in the day, this is the Tim Dill's pillow that Fevertree come out with, and this is like hot selling off the press right now.
Okay.
Like you go to fevertreeband.com on online, you can order this. We're back right now, 2-3 weeks sold out.
Okay.
I mean, so we kept this one because this is one of their one-offs. This is actually Tim's pillow. He let me borrow it. Gina was a little upset, his wife, but
All right.
Tim's like, yeah, go ahead and take it and stuff. And it looks like a beautiful pillow. But then when you go this way, that's
You got to hold this up.
Oh yeah.
there you go.
Oh yeah.
All right. So just so you
That
guys
was
can
that was a
see.
very intimate picture I took with Tim's guitar.
And that's the same picture that's on the rock and roll cabbage
It's a
candle, right?
No, that's a different. It's a whole different one.
it's a hidden gem. It
Yeah.
starts out. It looks like the
Okay.
pillow that a stripper would use.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so for the audio only people, it's one of those pillows that has like the glitter things on it. So when
Ta-da!
it can change colors
Just
when
say
you
it.
put them in one direction. Well,
You have to use
when you stroke this pillow,
Yeah, there you go. That's like use the right terminology.
It's a picture of Rocco naked with an acoustic guitar hiding his junk.
Yeah.
And that's the best way I can put it.
Thank God for the guitar.
but it's very artistic.
Let me see that.
I wish I could find the post because when we had actually posted that picture on Facebook and we got probably about 10,000 likes on it.
Yeah.
We need to take a picture of this so Alex can really put it
Okay.
on there. And then the bottom, it says melancholy of magic.
Yeah, it's tasteful.
And he's looking to the side, like all dramatic.
It's very,
It is awesome. Can you even play?
very
Oh,
tasteful.
yeah.
you know.
Oh, yeah, of course. You-
A little
bass player.
bit.
Yeah, you play
Well,
your
I mean, a
chords.
little bit. I
You get
mean,
your cowboy chords down, right?
yeah,
Feels so awkward stroking this pillow.
but it feels right.
It
You
does.
know, I mean,
It does. So I figured out that there's had to be something hiding behind the glitter. And I didn't know if it was going to be like something funny about Tim.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
no, I didn't expect naked Rocco with a guitar.
I need to send you the behind the scenes on this because it's actually my wife got a great picture of it. We were at the mall at Wolf Chase getting that pillow made, and I'm walking there and going, "I need this picture done." And the lady was like, they're Asian ladies, and they're like, "Oh, okay." And then, but it's a kiosk.
Dumb Americans.
But it's a kiosk right in the middle of the walkway where the buffet of candy at the
Right,
mall.
right.
It's right next to it. And there's kids, moms and dads walking everywhere, and they got a big monitor like this. And they put it on, and she's got a picture of people standing around the monitor going, and I'm yelling, don't you be stealing those pictures? I pay, that's high quality money right there.
I don't want to see that stuff on the internet.
Yeah, right. Oh, that's some good stuff, man.
That's great.
Thanks for bringing that in.
Yep.
We should.
I had to get
I
that
wish
back.
there was more. Like when you start having a surplus, give one to the studio. We'll put it in the shadow box.
I'm
right?
gonna tell you, I've got stuff coming for you that it just didn't come in time.
Okay.
Oh,
And you're gonna appreciate it.
Yeah.
I specialize great in merch. So I mean,
because that shirt you're wearing now that you
Yeah.
made that yourself, right?
oh yeah, and that was the thing on that story about me passing down the stage.
Yeah. So again,
I'm sorry
listeners-
about that. I got off on that, but
No.
Well, no, to the listeners, the shirt says, what does it say again? I do my own stunts.
Yeah.
2 crutches and a skull.
yeah, because I wore that the next time I played at that bar. And also, too,
okay.
the guy know the owner real good, and he let me put an chalk line outline on the floor.
Is it still there?
I don't know. I ain't been here
I
a little
love
bit,
it.
but it was out. It had a Fevertree logo and a big fat belly.
Rocko was here.
That's funny.
Well, speaking of passing out, I'm going to switch over to Hog Rock because there's that picture where the guy passed out near the porta potty.
Not
right?
near it. He
Yeah,
was
the side
right
of it.
next to it.
All right. So for context, me and Jeff last summer went out and toured around with a gentleman by the name of Derek Joseph, and we just played a little bit of festivals and fairs here and there, and we had this place called the festival is called Hog Rock,
Right.
and it was on the calendar forever, and we didn't know what to expect. And and what's funny, and you guys will understand why this is funny once you hear the whole story, but I was trying to take my daughter on this trip, and then eventually Derek called ahead and they said no minors.
Yeah.
I was like, okay.
We
That's
quickly
interesting.
found out why that was.
Oh my God. So we get there and
I don't even want my 25-year-old daughter to go. I mean, it's
so it's a huge biker that you would say, right?
Right.
And I'll let you'll be more knowledgeable on the genesis of this thing and what it all means, but I'm telling you from the perspective of our very naive, innocent eyes. We roll into this place and within a minute we're seeing boobs and dicks all over the place.
Everywhere.
It's
Like
the
the
most,
men too are just walking around buck naked.
yeah, it's like the most equal opportunity place ever. I mean, the first time I ever went, I was the same way. I didn't been to, my club was kind of new and stuff. And me and Big Ronnie, we'd been to several poker runs and and after we've been in it for so long now, it's funny because that's all different. That's poker runs. Everybody's nice, and at the end of the night, they may have a band at the clubhouse or at the event or whatever, and you might see some boobs, a little bit and stuff. And we decided to go to Hog Rock, and man, it was, I think it was like 10 o'clock in the morning when we got there, and all of a sudden we was like, Did you see that?
Yeah, rocking hard, hogs, hogs.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it was a chick walking by, and I, hey, I'm one of those guys. If look, I pose naked on pictures all the time, and I'm
You
horrible.
fit right in.
I'm ugly. I don't know how my wife stays with me. I mean, I can be butt naked in front of my wife, and she's like, baby. I'm like, you ain't got to lie to me. And it's okay. I'm okay.
You didn't partake in the nudity?
No. Because I do tasteful stuff. Just saying, and that stuff there's nothing tasteful at Hog Rock.
No, it was
Oh,
not.
no. So now there's 3 bands.
Yeah.
And in between each band, they have this intermission show.
The shows.
And the first one, so there's 2 intermission shows. And there's the third one. The first, what was before the first band with the cucumber.
Yeah, the hide the cucumber contest.
Yeah, we'll get to that. But the second intermission was titty contest.
Mhm.
And then the intermission before us, or I'm getting the order wrong,
Right.
but there was an intermission where the guys had a chance to go up there and show their stuff off.
Yeah, it was a swing and junk contest.
Yeah, I didn't stay for that one.
I mean, we're just sitting there on the wings of the stage waiting to play and like, what?
Yeah.
I got to
is
figure
this?
somewhere there's probably a photo out there that shows how we had never been to this before, because the 5 members of our band are standing in the middle of this crowd with this contest, the hide the cucumber contest going on, and the 5 of us are going,
Well, okay, and earmuffs to young people and anyone that's going to cringe with the story, but I'll try to dance around it here. But it was a cucumber, and they had to pantomime fellatio.
Well, they weren't hiding it in a box.
So then there was this one lady stepped up, and we'll just say she hit it in a different area in front of everybody. And again, now, like you said, but us, the band, were like,
we were the only 5 people standing there with a shocked look on our face. The whole rest of the crowd was just cheering and thinking it was just
like another
business
year.
as usual.
Oh, yeah.
So
it was like, what is going on?
Yeah.
And so again, imagine if we didn't call ahead about my daughter, and we roll in there with my daughter, and then I was like, you can't leave your bunk.
No.
It's not it's your bunk. I don't even want out of your bunk. Never mind sitting in the gallery of the bus.
Right.
Like, you are not leaving. So
yeah, it's definitely a place. I mean, like I said, even my oldest daughter, she's 25. I still be like, no, you're not going. They don't allow anybody under 40. But yeah, it's funny when you go to Hard Rock and say you've been there before. The next time you go back, you can spot the people that's never been there because they all have the same look on their face. They're just like,
that was us.
But I do want to post the actual photo of the guy passed out.
I mean, he's like spooning.
We were just walking through, and this dude is just face planted on the ground, and I'm like,
right behind a porta potty.
If any photograph explains just how hard these people party.
Oh man,
and it was daytime.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And if you think you're a party hard, go to Hard Rock.
Yeah. No,
you'll learn quickly that
you've never partied.
No.
So what is that festival all about? Is there a certain club that puts it on, or
I'll be honest
how
with
long
you,
has it been around? Do you know anything deeper about it?
No, I don't, because like I said, our club, there's a few of us that went, and not everybody in our club could go and stuff, and it's a club oriented, a lot of clubs there.
Yeah.
But I think it's a great fun thing to go to, but I think the clubs are getting a little bit backed out of it a little bit more because a lot more commercialism people are coming in. People that, recreational riders, I should say.
Right.
But it's still, it doesn't matter. It's
a party.
It's like Harley hippies.
Yeah.
It's peace, love, and nakedness. Everyone's getting along, but they're also all the most grizzled.
Oh yeah.
Man,
people that you'll ever meet.
Me and Ronnie's been a couple times, and we've yet to see a fight out there. I mean, it does happen, but I mean, most of the time, people don't. Man, they're just living life and
having a good time.
Some of them are actually like attorneys, and and they're just letting loose.
You're standing in line, getting a hot dog that's not a good food to talk about. You're standing in line getting a cheeseburger. Right, at a vendor, right? Just like you would at any festival or any fair, but yet you're in a line with
naked people
and not attractive nakedness.
No.
There was a couple that were like, "Oh, that's fun. That's nice over there."
There were no supermodels at this place.
No. It was just the Twilight Zone. It was so bizarre.
It was bizarre.
Black Oak, Arkansas.
Yeah.
Well, that's a shift, right?
That was awesome experience.
That was
actually, it's probably
awesome.
Not too different from what I hear. No. We've heard some pretty big party stories about Black Oak too.
Man, that's it. When I first got, they needed a bass player to fill in.
Right.
They had a couple of shows, and Lance had said, "Hey man, I got a buddy named Rocko that plays bass." And so next thing I know, I live in the Arkansas, Missouri area, so we're right there, actually close. My kids go to school at Monette, Arkansas, and that's where Jim's from.
Okay. And, shout out to Jim Dandy.
Yeah, and I get a phone call one day. Literally, we was on our way to Memphis, and I got stopped for speeding. And while I was getting stopped, I was talking to Jim Dandy on the phone.
This is before the stroke, right?
Yeah, way before the stroke. So I get pulled over, and I said, "Hold on, Jim." And the officer come up, and he said, "Sir, I clocked you going 65 and a 55 and stuff like that." He said, "Do you want to tell me what your hurry is?" And I just looked at him. I go, I got Jim Dandy on the phone right here because my phone said Jim Dandy.
Right.
And I said, I'm on his way, his house right now to go talk to him about playing with Black Oak. And he goes, "What? Hello, Jim. This is Officer so-and-so." "Yeah. All right, I'll get him there." And he hung up. And he goes, "Yeah, I know Jim. We go way back and everything." And so I get to go see Jim that night, and Jim's like, "Yeah, I know everybody around town, and I do this and do that." And just sitting there talking to Jim, I grew up knowing Black Oak, or not, knowing their music and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And man, it was awesome just sitting in his living room.
Yeah.
And then Ricky Lee Reynolds was there, and
wow.
And so I got to play a little stint. There's a lot of musicians that did their time with Black Oak.
David Flexer, right?
Tons of Memphis musicians.
David Flexer as well.
Flexer, John Roth did a stint with them.
Really?
Uh huh. There's several others that I know that are on the tip of my
Lonnie
tongue.
Hammer, from Hammer Down Hard. He's played drums with him and stuff. And
how long were you with him?
Man, I was with him very short. It was probably about. Well, I mean, I think I played 5 shows with him, so probably a matter of 8 months or so.
Did Lance?
Yep.
Yeah, he did a stint. Lance McDaniel.
Look, you know what? Yeah, and he brought it up.
He brought that up.
Look, I'll tell you a funny story, man. Me and Lance played with Black Oak in Iowa, Sioux City, Iowa, and we were playing at this casino, and it was a pretty good size setup. And we're standing there, and this is my Jim Dandy story, and I loved it. We're sitting there, and I can't remember his name, Johnny Bolin.
Mhm.
He's the brother of Tommy Bolin from
Okay.
the original, one of the original James Gang.
Okay.
Okay. And Johnny he's a legendary drummer, and he was playing, and he's on his drum riser, and my set list is to my right. And Jim's up there, him and Sammy are singing. Man, Jim's a performer, man. As soon as he wakes up in the morning till he goes to bed, he's performing. And so he's up there doing his thing, and I forgot what song we were doing, and I'm making sure I'm playing good, we're jamming, and Jim does a half circle, and all of a sudden grabbed his uppers, dentures out of his mouth, threw them down on my set list, turned back around, got the microphone, went back into it, and I'm playing, going, holy shit! I'm like, his teeth is right there, and I'm yelling at Lance, lock! And,
Don't step on him.
And no, they were on the drum riser right there on my thing, and Lance is laughing. Me and Lance are just cracking up.
Why did the teeth come out?
Jim, if it bothers his singing, dude, and he does it so fast, nobody knew it. I mean, and I'm trying to get my wife, I'm like, grab the camera and take a picture and stuff. But man, it was crazy playing with Jim and Rick. I mean, you go to Jim's house and he's got gold records hanging on the wall, and he's got old flyers from back when Bruce Springsteen opened for Black Oak, Arkansas and stuff. And the stories that Jim would tell is amazing.
Legendary. I mean, Black Oak and Jim Dandy are just legendary.
What's the bus ride like?
Well, so it's not really a bus ride. It's who can get to the gig. Yeah. And we played a show one time in Kentucky, and I was already at the hotel, and it was hot. Man, it was just hot as all get out, and I had my gear in my van. I got a creeper van, and stuff. And we was there. I already got the rooms for Jim. They already called in, and we were waiting on them. And man, next thing you know, here come a Jeep Cherokee with a U-Haul trailer, and that Jeep Cherokee had the back glass open, and it was Jim and Sammy and about 4 other people just drenched in sweat, piling out of that thing. And Jim's wearing his legendary vest with the raccoon tails and all that. And I was like, hey, Jim. He's like, hey, Rocko, Jim, my room ready. I said, yes, sir, room's ready to go. He said, you got the air conditioner on? Yes, sir. He's like, all right, I'm going to be in here for another hour. I'm hot.
He was.
and Ricky's so nice. Ricky's like, hey, Rocko. And Ricky's like the most laid-back musician. I mean, just such a beautiful soul, man. And he was awesome. And it was just fun playing with him. I mean, yeah.
How busy does he stay?
Man,
has he slowed down any at this point? Or?
Yeah, I think since COVID they slowed down. Yeah. They took care of some stuff.
But pre-COVID, when he was
doing several shows. Yeah, I mean,
a year.
Yeah, I mean, he was doing, and they were big shows. They weren't, they weren't little bitty shows and stuff. I mean, we stayed in Sioux City, Iowa. We played at Sturgis,
right?
And we was at Sioux City, Iowa, and stuff. And how it worked out, it was pure rock star. They had the whole top floor of this 12-story hotel booked, the whole top floor, and there's only a handful of us, and it was like we were in the presidential suite and all that, and man, it was a great time.
Cool. That's awesome. So,
let's talk a little bit about your influences. Who have you looked up to as a bassist?
Man, this is gonna sound kind of weird. So growing up, like I said, we had a gospel band, so I grew up listening to gospel, horror gospel, and just, I didn't listen to country a lot. But my dad, he was a big blues guy. He loved Stevie Ray Vaughan, B.B. King was his idol and stuff, and he played. That's how I learned how to get into music, was because of my parents. My mom played piano, my dad played guitar, and so growing up, Jim Jamerson, he played a little bit with Marvin Gaye. But he was known
Motown.
Yeah, he was known as the Hook.
Yep.
Yeah,
because he used to play stand-up bass, and then he transferred to a normal bass. And the way he played, front finger, just nothing else but that.
Right.
But solid. I mean, just awesome. And so I got to sneak around and listen to some rock and roll because my buddy was a guitar player. So he introduced me to Guns N' Roses, Motley Crue, and stuff. So so Duff and Tom Hamilton from Aerosmith and Nicky and stuff. That's just. Man, I'd hear that stuff, and that's what I wanted to play. So that was kind of, and then my dad introduced me to blues. So I started listening to Tommy Shannon from Double Trouble and stuff. And
nice.
Yeah, and that's. But what's crazy is that's kind of got my interest into playing bass. And I didn't have a style. I didn't have a way I play. I just like to play because I used to be a drummer like in high school and stuff, and that's I used to do all that, but it transitioned to bass. But, when I came into the Memphis music scene, and actually one of the first people that really influenced me was actually Dave Snell from the Shotgun Boys. Dave Dave's an awesome bass player. And back then, when I was playing transition, like, in blues, getting into rock and roll, I watched Dave when he was with Lance. They had a band called the Chase Buchanan Band.
Okay.
And I saw them and I saw Dave, the way he played, and I was like, oh my God, that's different. Mm-hmm. So then I started going to all their shows, emulating Dave, and I'd be on stage playing with my band at the time, and we're like a country cover band and stuff, and we're doing like Wonderful Tonight, and I'm over playing funk, jumping around on stage and stuff. And it was actually Dave Snell said, dude, you're going to learn a lesson playing bass, and it's called Less is More.
That's right, yeah.
And so I started doing that. But people that really influenced me is when I got into the Memphis music scene. And like I said, I just play bass. I know my role in the band. I play bass. I try to find the best sound, the best low end to get to. And when the guitar player goes into a solo, I like to drop down and play low to cover it. I come over here and I call myself the okayest bass player from Memphis.
Oh, I disagree with that.
That's it. And so I come over here and I go see Almost Famous.
Yeah.
And Tommy Cathy.
Yeah.
Man, I watched Tommy Cathy play and I just went, man, I got to go home and practice. Because his style and the way he plays, and every note's great. And then I got to meet Davey Smith. Oh my gosh!
Yeah, he's coming in here in the near future.
Yep.
Dude, I was playing on stage, and I thought I had great tone.
Right.
And I thought my bass sounded great. And we were playing an all-star jam at Hadley's, and he was there, and he said, "Can I get up and play?" I said, "Yeah." All he did was grab my bass, and it never sounded like that before.
Right.
And his style of playing, man, he's a legend. But
he is.
I met some of these Memphis guys that are just solid, and it just changed. It made me focus on what I needed to do.
Lance Binder is my dude. That when I go to see Area 51, shout out.
Yeah.
That's like me. Like I'm a big fan of John Davis from the Fast Mothers, David Gregory from Midnight Train. I mean, these guys are they're solid, know. And like I said, of course, James Alexander. When I actually got to meet James Alexander, he's just a solid bass player. And one of the things that I actually learned from him is like when he transitions to some notes, he'll go a half step down. Like he'll come up high, half step high, and then drop it down to the note and play it.
So he's finding it.
Yeah. So on the 4, he's half step up. And then when he hits the 1, he's down on the note. And it's cool. And if you listen to his bass playing, he does it all the time. So
Did you always play 5-string?
Yeah, kind of. When 5 strings first came out, I had a PVT 40 bass. It weighs 300 pounds. It's huge.
I know, right?
And I had that. And then my dad, a 5-string came out. My dad looked at me, took me to a music store, and he said, "You think you can play that?" And I go, "I don't know." So I was 16, 17 years old. So I got it. And I played it in the music room. And I said, "Man, I really like that bass." And then it was getting close to Christmas. Well, I played in the gospel band. Well, my dad brought it to a show. And he said, "Here, play this tonight and see what you think." And I go, "Oh my gosh, this is awesome."
Right.
So I'm playing a 5-string with the band. And then I was upset because my dad said, "Well, we got to take it back. We're gonna look at it." Next thing I get it for Christmas. And it was actually what was it? It was an Alvarez 5-string bass, and they had just come out with them. And so every time I played gospel with that bass out somewhere, they were like, "Is that a 5-string?" And they come in awe and wonder at it.
Yeah. What is that?
But I learned that the 5-string to me is I don't do any drop D stuff. Never have. And a lot of songs are done in just the top E strings into a drop D, and I didn't do that. But the 5-string to me takes care of that problem.
Yeah.
If you're wanting to play modern country, well, maybe not now, but the Jason Aldean era of country,
right?
Everything's in C sharp, and you need that low B to be able to hit that note.
Yeah.
Now there was some songs in my casino years where I had to do drop D because of the kind of riff it was.
Yeah.
It wouldn't have made sense to try to go playing across the neck, hitting that low D on the 5th string. But I love the 5. That's all I play. That's all I've ever played.
It's like my go-to. But what's crazy was when I play with Black Oak, I'm playing my 5-string. Well, because their music's, if you really dive into Black Oak, Arkansas, their music's pretty intricate. I mean, it's crazy. And because I was sitting with Jim and Ricky, and we were talking about some of their music, and some of their songs that have these crazy tempo changes and chord changes. I mean, Jim's like, "Oh yeah, well, I forgot it." Anyway, I drew a blank on the name, but I know I drew a blank on the name, but the famous musicians have wrote with Frank Zappa. Frank Zappa wrote some songs with Jim Dandy and produced some of their, or not produced it, but helped structure some of the songs. And I'm playing with the 5-string, and I'm like, man, I'm not getting it. And finally, Ricky looked at me one day and he said, well, just to let you know, he said, a lot of these songs are written on a 4-string, bass. So try it. So I went and got the old Fender out and started playing. Oh my God, it was so much easier. Because those songs were created on 4-string. And I was hardcore 5-string for a long time. And then a good friend of mine, Angelo Earl, plays with the Barcays and stuff. I was talking about 5-string and he said, well, man, he said, that's all cool and all that. He said, but remember, he said, pretty much 90% of the most famous songs you ever heard were done on a 4.
Yeah.
And he said, so don't ever leave the 4-string. Just keep it in your arsenal.
There's a lot of 4-stringers that are dead against 5. They poo-poo it.
Yeah.
I just looked at it as a versatile instrument. 5-string, you can cover all kinds of stuff. But let me give you a compliment, because when I listen to Fevertree, especially obviously live, there's only one guitar. But even on the records and the stuff you record, there's songs where you'll leave it that way when Mike Bertoldo goes into the solo. And it's so refreshing to hear a bass player that can add a little more, get a little busier to fill that space. And you do it brilliantly, man. It's just, you're back there grooving away with John, and it just makes this great foundation and makes that space as well.
Right.
For Mike. So you're not drowning, you're not taking his space, but you're filling the space. And I just think the world of that.
I appreciate that, man. It's, playing with John, John's just a solid drummer, man. He's just awesome. And so, when we play, like I said, I always learn. My dad taught me how to play bass. He told me, he said, you're a bass player. Know your role. Know what you play. He said, you're not the rock star. Don't get out there and act a fool and for attention. Do your job. So, like I said, when playing with John, he's so good to just set a groove with. Because it's like he just sets his foot on the drum and walks away, and it just stays there. It's and so I can set a good groove with John, and then Mike is just he's
awesome.
shredder.
I mean, you're an awesome band, all of them. And we love Tim. We love Tim too. You know, I mean, his singing is, again, going back to the Minglewood show. It was great to see him have space. Yeah. Because he's walking all over the place. He's putting it on, man.
Yeah, they don't let me. I can't walk.
Well, they don't want you to die.
We don't want you falling off another stage.
No. Look, they took my cord. Amber, my wife, she took my cord away from me, or my cordless away, and put me tethered to my amp, so that way I could only have 15 foot.
You got a leash, buddy.
Right.
Well, at Minglewood, you didn't move.
No.
You stood right in place.
Yeah.
One other thing I want to ask you about, you mentioned tone earlier. Did you model your tone, or do you use gear from certain musicians that you've looked up to, or is this just something you kind of came up with on your own and formed? Because full disclosure, I play DW drums because Neil Peart played DW drums. I went and bought DWs because, hell, if the best that I've ever seen plays them, then that's what I want to do. So have you done anything like that, or is this all just something that you came up with?
Well, I mean, a lot of it is just, I don't know. It's been an internal search because, like I said, I love the first bass tone I ever fell in love with was "Sweet Child of Mine." Yeah, and just I was like,
Duff McKagan has that cool pick play, pick sound,
and then the tone I always like was Duff McKagan's. I mean, he just had
it cuts through, and you can really hear it.
And
I've always loved him too.
And like I said, I never really knew how to emulate it, but as I got older playing. I started learning. I became an Ampeg fig. First time I played on Ampeg, I was like, oh my God, this is great. And then back when I had a band years ago, I owned all the PA. Well, I decided to, you know what? I'm going to buy me a good bass, because I had good basses, but not the money basses, And a friend of mine, he said, check out this bass. He said he had a music store, and it was a Lakeland. And I was like, I never even heard of this. He's like, oh yeah, this is, top-notch bass. I mean, they're high quality if you get the big ones and stuff. And so I sold all my PA system to this music store and ordered a brand new Lakeland bass. It was like probably $6,000, and it's still expensive. And then when I got it, I got it set up, and man, it was awesome. And then like playing with music or seeing musicians like Dave Snell and guys that had, like, Dave had a Highwayman Eden amp, and Dave's tone was just insane. It was so good and stuff, and so I try to emulate, tones from him and stuff. And you start learning, different combinations. And thank God for Google, because I'd start Googling, what does this bass player use? And
how do I sound thunderous?
Right, yeah. Like John Davis, man, with Fast Mothers, his tone's insane. Yeah. Whenever we do a show somewhere, if we do a partner show, he'd be like, hey, Rocko, I'm going to go ahead and bring my amp. I'm like, I'm okay. Yeah,
that'll work.
Bring it. And then my bass sounds so good going through his amp, and like I said, he's great on tone.
Yeah.
So you try to emulate that when you go back. So
I think this is the most in depth we've talked about bass.
Yeah.
I'm loving it.
I know you're loving it.
I gave Jeff shit one day on the text. I was like, hey man, we need to book a bass player because we've had like 8 drummers on this damn thing.
yeah, no.
Drummers everywhere.
I was like, come on, so I appreciate the talk here.
Yeah, there'll be
It's
6
awesome.
people out in the audience that like the bass stuff.
Everyone's given up by now. They've turned the podcast off.
They enjoyed the pillow way more than they enjoyed the bass talk.
Let's return to the pillow.
We know
Melancholy of Magic. That should be the name of your next record.
That's a great band name.
Yeah. Well, what happened was that the pillows they sold out fast, but we got a thing in from the FDA that was saying that we were causing an abnormal birth rate. Pregnancy rate. And so, and then combined with the abortion thing going on right now, it's like it's causing a chaos.
Right.
I don't want to be the downfall of the economy.
Understand.
But I'm sorry if it happens.
Man, we should do this again next week.
We have to do this again.
Man, Rocko, thank you.
Well, thank you guys.
This is awesome.
Thank you guys for everything you guys do, man. You guys support Memphis music. You're part of it. And man, musicians like us, man, we really respect and appreciate you guys a whole bunch.
Man, we're having so much fun. It's our pleasure. Trust me. Well, we're not saying bye yet, Jeff. We're going to address the audience here. And first and foremost, thank you. If you made it this far, you're awesome.
Yep.
And thank you for everything you do. Like we mentioned in the intro now, go to the rhythmsectionpod.com. If you're a business interested in supporting this podcast, as a sponsor or an advertiser, go to that tab, fill out that form, and that way I can follow up with you. Also, the link is in the description. And I covered the website, but Jeff, you want to cover the merch?
Yeah, sure. 131 West Commerce at Boba Cream. Check out the merch.
Hernando,
Yes.
Mississippi.
Hernando, Mississippi.
Free stickers too.
Yeah.
I got to add that to the script. I keep forgetting that part.
And a huge one. This is as important as anything we will tell you on this podcast. Get out and see a band.
Yes,
Support these guys. That way they can support us and we can support them, and it's just cyclical. And we're all here and we're all in it together, and we need your help.
And you'll make friends. You'll network. Me and Jeff are prime examples of this. Since beginning this deal, we made an effort to show up, and I have like real friends now in the scene that I love. Yeah, and it feels good to be a part of.
You can win a John Peterson lookalike contest if you get out there.
That was the highlight.
John Patterson.
Oh, sorry.
From the Tortora.
Yeah,
the
Tortora.
The Tortora. Again, thanks, man. Thanks, Rocko, for being here. And
absolutely.
We're looking forward to the next time.
Right on.
All right, guys.
Let's do it.
Take care, everybody.
See ya.